Today is Sunday, September 14th, and welcome to episode 5 of the In the Huddle podcast. I'm your host, Kane White. Super excited to bring you episode 5. If you would like to directly support the In the Huddle podcast and get some sweet merch along with it, look no further than the first run of the In the Huddle merch that I dropped last week. I'm taking pre-orders right now up until Wednesday. Okay, this next Wednesday. If you like looking fresh in the fall, we got some sweet camo hoodies with the In the Huddle logo in an ivory color. And so look no further than my Facebook, the In the Huddle Instagram page. DM me on either one of those to place your order right now. Super excited to put some merch out there for the world so people can see the In the Huddle podcast being worn. Thank you to those of you who have already purchased the In the Huddle hoodies. Look forward to creating some new designs in the future. I'm gonna get some hats rolling here pretty soon with the help of Mr. Cody Crittenden and Mr. Tyson Franks of Raptor Designs over in Batesville, Arkansas. So thank you to those two guys for helping me out with this process. But yeah, get you some In the Huddle merch while it's hot. DM me on Instagram or Facebook to place those orders, taking Cash App, and Venmo with shipping available. If you're watching this on YouTube, it looks a little different around here today. Got this sweet new microphone, a boom mic, got a voice audio mixer, soundproof some walls in here. And that's all shout out to my little brother, Will, and my good friend, Jordan Belasco. They have really poured into this podcast, and I can't thank them enough for their help making sure that this thing is technically sound. No pun intended. I know that's something that I've struggled with in this podcast, and can't thank them enough for their help. My little brother set this up yesterday while I was at a wedding. I was actually in a wedding, which is the 13th wedding I've been in my life. Shout out to my good buddy Matthew May and his beautiful wife Rachel on getting married yesterday. But yeah, my little brother Will set this up for me yesterday. We tested it out earlier, so hopefully it sounds great for you all that are listening. My good buddy Jordan helped me out with these soundproof walls, so hopefully that the sound is great, and you can hear me loud and clear out there, whether you're on Spotify or YouTube. This weekend, very, very exciting weekend of football. To start out, the Hoxie Mustangs, man, a hard-fought battle against 5A Paragould Friday. And I tell you what, that was just kind of an old-school, tough, gritty football game. We ended up losing by 13, but the score didn't really indicate how tough and physical, hard-fought the game was. Man, we're right there. We're so close, and just proud of how hard our young men are playing. And how they carry themselves off the field through some adversity. It's a really special group of young men that we've got over there, and looking forward to hopping into conference play next week. We've got a bye week this week, so kind of reset the mind and the body before we hop into 3A3 conference play, a tough 3A3 conference. Extremely blessed to coach in a conference with so many good coaches and good programs. Yesterday, what a day of college football. Georgia and Tennessee, amazing game. You had Arkansas and Ole Miss. Arkansas is just so close. And, I think it's kind of same song, different tune for Arkansas fans. Just losing close games, it's so hard. But, if you're a Hog fan, don't get your diaper down. It's early in the season. The offense looks great. The defense has had success at times, and they'll get that fixed. I'm telling you, this Arkansas team is really solid. I mean, and if you're an Arkansas fan, you can say, "Oh, we got beat by a backup quarterback who played in D2 last year." Well, that quarterback played at Ferris State last year, and I got to watch him play in person against Harding University. I'm telling you, he can go. He's a special athlete. So don't let that cloud your vision of this team. The Notre Dame and Texas A&M game was fantastic. To go into South Bend and win, that's extremely hard. That was a good game to watch. The old alma mater, Arkansas State, went toe-to-toe with Iowa State, who I was high on last week. I think I'm still high on Iowa State. I think they're a really talented football team. But, wow, how about Butch Jones and the Red Wolves, giving it all they had and going toe-to-toe with Iowa State, who could be a playoff representative of the Big 12. at the end of the season. So that was a really good one. And just looking forward to the rest of the college football season. I think it's kind of wide open. Um, I think there's a lot of good teams. I think there's some teams that they could surprise you at the end of the season. LSU looks solid. They looked solid against Florida last night. They're I think they're one of the best teams in the country, but I think it's a wide open college football season, and that's one thing that I was wrong about when NIL started. I thought with NIL starting that it was going to widen the competition gap, and I think it's made competition better. So I think you're going to have a whole lot of teams that will be able to make a debate that they should be in the college football playoff at the end of the season. So great day of college football yesterday. I've enjoyed so much being able to sit back and watch college football again, and I've been glued to it, really, really taking it all in, and enjoying watching the guys I coached last year play. Guys that are still at the University of Arkansas, or even guys that transferred, guys like Dylan Haas, who's at Appalachian State, and even those guys that transferred to Ole Miss, Patrick Kudus and Luke Haas and Jalen Braxton. I mean, I've got ties to those guys, and you always appreciate the guys you coached, and so it's really fun to watch as a fan, and look forward to the rest of the season big time. Today's guest, I know I've gone on and on about some football and some merch and the new equipment, but today's guest I'm super excited about. We're gonna step out of the sports realm of things for one episode. We're gonna dive into something else. Now there might be some sports talk. I think there has to be with this guest, but we're gonna reach away from sports a little bit in episode 5. Today's guest, he's a God-fearing man who has always put others first. In his line of work, he has to put others first, and that's what I appreciate so much about this man. He's an Emmy Award-winning meteorologist. More importantly, he's a father and a husband, a great one at that. And if you live in Northeast Arkansas or Southeast Missouri, you know this name extremely well. Episode 5 of the In the Huddle podcast, the guest, Chief Meteorologist of Region 8 News, Mr. Ryan Vaughan. Live in studio with today's guest, Mr. Ryan Vaughan. RV, what's up, man? How's it going?
Oh, it's going good, man. Just about to dive into some forecasting, and just had a great morning at church, and it's just
Super.
been a good day. Had all the kids in town this weekend, so which is always a good thing. Only one of them actually lives out of town, but to get everybody together is pretty rare, so that was good.
Man, quality time with the family, it's so important. It doesn't really matter what I saw you guys were watching some football yesterday on your Facebook, and so I know
Y-
that's awesome. I'm glad you guys got all together.
Yeah, we
Um,
did. Got together, flipping around. Boy, there were so many games that you had to flip back and forth all the time. So yeah,
no joke. I mean, I've got 2 TVs set up. I think I need like 6,
yeah.
as many games as I want to watch. So that's great, man. And so you're getting ready to do some forecasting. I guess the weather right now isn't too terribly busy being this part of the year.
It's not. It's kind of the quiet time for us this time of year. I'm really, you watch Friday nights for football games.
Right.
You keep farmers up to date with that time of year where some of the farmers are still wanting some rain, and some of them are just they're full into harvest, so they need no rain at all. So,
Right.
so we try to keep everybody up to date on what we're going to see.
That's fantastic, man. How you put others first. That's what I said in the intro, man. The way you put others first, it's an awesome deal. And so, hopping into weather, why did you choose to study weather? What drove you to become a meteorologist?
It's funny. I've loved weather my entire life. So even as a little kid, I'd be the kid that's I can remember we had a screen door, and I'd open the door and I'd just sit there and watch the weather. Doesn't matter if it's snowing, thunderstorms, whatever. I just loved weather. And I get into high school and I'm watching the Weather Channel all the time. And every time any of the local meteorologists are coming on, flipping through, my friends make fun of me. I can remember being in high school. They're like, "Oh, weather dork over there wants to listen to the Weather Channel." And to this day they talk about, man, we remember back when you used to watch the Weather Channel. But I just always loved weather. I didn't necessarily want to do the television thing. In fact, I started out working for the FAA, doing
Wow.
the
Okay.
the meteorology side of aviation. But once I got into this, I just really I liked the community and the people side of it. And you start seeing how an impact can be made on being on this side of it, and it just opens up opportunities also. God has opened up some doors for us to kind of use this platform to go into other things to promote some things that aren't weather related. And so I love it, man. There's not a lot of people that can say they absolutely love their job, and I do.
Man, that's I'm in the same boat. I'm with you. That's a super cool story. That it literally started with a screen door.
Yeah.
I love that. And so, but I can relate to you and agree with you. God puts us in the right spots for the right reasons, and being able to serve people. Man, it's a true blessing. And so that's awesome. So when you're standing at that screen door, where was that at? Where were you born and raised?
So I was born in Nashville, Tennessee, and more
Okay,
specifically, um, Antioch. Antioch is kind of the south side of Nashville, and there's kind of different parts of Antioch. So there's Antioch that's like out by the lake, and then there's Antioch that's by Mill Creek. Antioch by Mill Creek they call Lower Antioch. That's L.A.
okay,
And
gotcha.
LA is a lot different than Northeast Arkansas, but um, I loved it there. By the way, shout out to Antioch High School. They're 4-0 this year in football so far,
Let's
so
go.
it's yeah, they're having an incredible year, and I'm happy for those kids. It's
What's the Antioch High School mascot?
the Bears, man.
Roll
Yeah,
Bears,
Antioch
man.
Bears. That's also home of Jelly Roll.
No
Jelly Roll
joke.
went, yeah, Jelly Roll went to high school at Antioch, so he was a little bit younger as me. His brother um, graduated with my wife, so that Scott graduated, and Jason was younger, but he was a little rowdy then. So like, I think I was in 12th grade, he was in seventh. And like even then, you knew rowdy, Jelly down in seventh grade even. So he was a mess, man. So when they say he turned his life around, the kid really turned his life around.
What a cool story. That is incredible. I did not know that. And
Yeah,
man, he sure has. I mean, not only what he's done for the music industry, just people all over. He goes and speaks at prisons and things like that.
yeah.
That's God working in his life. And so, man, the RV Jelly Roll connection, how cool. That's
Isn't
awesome.
that wild? Yeah,
It really is. It really is. So you're born and raised in the Nashville area.
yeah.
How do you get to Northeast Arkansas? What's that path look like?
All right. So when I got the TV bug, kind of, so I was with the aviation side of FAA, and I started doing weekends weather on TV in Hopkinsville, Kentucky, at a little independent station. Well, I got
Okay.
the bug of wanting to do television meteorology, and how that works is back then you would go to a website, which internet wasn't crazy. It was new. It was still new, but you
Right.
went to a website called TV Jobs, and you went through, and you'd send out a bunch of VHS tapes. So you send out these Manila envelopes.
Let's
And
go.
you'd send them to 30 stations. And I can remember a guy here by the name of Randy Titano called me up, and he really didn't say where it was. He was just like, "Hey, got your tape here at KAIT. We want you to drive in for an interview." And I'm young and dumb, and I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, that's cool, that's cool." He never really said where, so I had to like go back and look at my notes. I'm like, KAIT, KAIT. Okay, Jonesboro, Arkansas. So I drove in, and the rest is history, man. If you had told me, I'm about to celebrate 25 years from the first time I got
Man,
here. Um, if you had told me 25 years later I'd be here, I don't think that would be the case, but that's just the way the road goes.
absolutely. Thank God for those VHS tapes. I know a lot of people in Northeast Arkansas are saying, "Man, thank God he sent that out." So, man, what a cool story, man. Thank you for your 25 years of service, and looking forward to 25 more, hopefully.
Let's
Um,
hope so. Yeah.
no doubt. So, I was maybe doing a little stalking of your Facebook and seeing things, and my mom told me a long time back that she sat in front of you at a NASCAR race at Talladega. And so, what a small world. Is that the only NASCAR race you've been to? Are you a big NASCAR fan? What's that look like?
I used to be. I used to be all right. So I grew up, watching NASCAR with dad every weekend, and grew up going to Nashville Speedway.
Yeah.
But the Talladega thing, we had a group of guys in Paragould that just started going every year.
Okay.
And I will say, I started not caring as much about NASCAR, but it was still just the camaraderie of, getting 11 or 12 of your guy friends up. And you may only know, by the end of it, I only knew like three or four of the drivers. So I'm like, well, I know Jimmy Johnson still, and, some of the
Yeah.
old cats were still out there. And so it was still a blast. But man, I bet we went 10 to 13 times. I mean, it was a long streak that we went to Talladega, and we don't go anymore. But it was definitely some fun times. If you are a people watcher, man, that is the place to go. I can remember sitting at the ball at Turtle Creek and you just people watch.
Right.
It's like here, people watch at Talladega is just like next
You-
level. It's
All
wild.
right. So that's the bucket list people watching event for people watching fanatics. No,
That's it. It
I could
is.
see that. I'm kind of the same. In my NASCAR fandom. Early 2000s, I was big into it. Me and my late grandfather Willie Ed, we'd watch every race. And when Mark Martin retired, that's kind of when I stopped watching. Him being from Batesville, and so was a huge Mark
Yeah.
Martin fan. But haven't been to Talladega yet. Want to go, and so. But that's super cool that
Yeah.
that you and all your friends kept that going for so long.
We
That's
did. I
kind
mean,
of
some of
rare
those
today.
guys you wouldn't see it. Yeah, you sometimes you wouldn't even see them for a year. You wouldn't see those guys, and then we start texting and getting everything. What are you bringing? I'm bringing hamburgers, and I'll bring this, and everybody gets together, and maybe we need a reunion trip back to Talladega. But yeah, it was
Awesome.
fun.
Fantastic. I'm hitting the Daytona 500 this
Ooh,
next year, so really excited about that.
that'll be
Gonna have
fun.
to, gonna have to fit that in between. I'm also coaching. I'm an assistant basketball coach too, and so gonna have to make that a quick trip. But excited to check that. That's been on my sports bucket list for years, and so I wrote this down. What's on your sports event bucket list? What event have you not attended that you want to attend by the end of your life?
Ooh, that is a. It's obvious, guys like us that like football, it's easy to go, oh, I want to go to the Super Bowl. I only want to go to the
Right.
Super Bowl, though, if the Titans
Right.
are going to be there. So it's like, I've heard from people before that the Super Bowl isn't what you think it is. Like you're around a bunch of people that really aren't football fans, is what I've been told.
Correct.
I don't know. I'm going to go with an obscure one. Now, hear me out. So my father-in-law is like a 4 or 5 time Ironman. Do you know what an Ironman is?
Hey, absolutely. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you hop in, you swim 2.2 miles, and you go up on a bike for like 120 miles, and you run a marathon. Well, I've
Awesome.
been to a
Yeah.
couple of those, and
Okay.
they're incredible, incredible. The main one is in Hawaii, so I think I wouldn't mind going to see that. Even being an observer of that's really cool. I
No
wouldn't
doubt.
mind seeing that one day. So, like I said, I'm gonna throw out an obscure one on you.
That's a great answer. I love that. And you're
Yeah.
you're a big biker as well. You do some cycling, right?
I do. I cycle. I'm a slow cycler. You got the guys out there. We got, there's a group of guys around town that they ride and they're competitive and they're running 20, 25 miles an hour. Man, I'm just out there trying to keep the arteries clean. Man, I'm running like 16 miles an hour.
That's
But
awesome,
hey,
bro.
I like it. It's fun.
No doubt. We've all got our things that we like to do to stay active. I'm a big runner. I got back into that recently, doing that 75 hard challenge, which I've talked about on this
Woo.
podcast. Yeah, yeah. This is day 42. So
You're
ran four
getting it,
miles this
man.
morning. Yeah, man. And trying to get right. It's
Yeah.
more of a mental thing than physical. So enjoying
I've
the heck
heard that,
out of
man.
that.
I guess I'm just not mentally strong, but I ran a little bit, did my first half marathon earlier this year, and I'm toying around with the idea of actually trying to work on my time and maybe do the St. Jude in December. We'll see.
Awesome. Where was that half marathon at?
That was Nashville. Yeah,
Awesome.
it was funny.
Oh,
My wife and I both had little ER visits leading up to it, and we talked to the doctor about 2 or 3 days out. And he said, should we be doing this? He said, "Hey, go do it and go at your own pace." And we weren't fast at all. And we ran a mile, walked a mile, and you know, things like that. But we got through it and we had a good time.
Oh, that's awesome. I love that. So, we've talked about Nashville a lot, and you mentioned that you're a Titans fan.
Yeah.
They might not ever make the Super Bowl, but I watched a Steelers Titans game in '09, probably the closest they ever got. Me and my family went. I want to say it was the last week of the regular season. Kerry Collins is the starting quarterback of the
Uh,
14-2 Titans.
yeah.
They were really good that year.
Yeah.
And then that was the same year that Big Ben, Troy Polamalu, and the Steelers beat the Cardinals in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Um,
That I
it,
do. I do remember that.
it was like 17 degrees in Nashville that day. It was miserable. The Titans
Yeah.
won. I'm in sixth grade. I'm crying the whole way back home because the Steelers lost, and then they ended up winning the Super Bowl. And that's actually the same year as the Great Ice Storm of
Yeah, it
'09.
was. Yeah. The '09 ice
And
storm. That's a forever we will compare all winter storms to the '09 ice storm. So
no doubt. I mean, I remember, we just didn't have power for the longest. I think we went to a house with a generator to watch that Super Bowl. And so, man, that was a tough time in the Truman community.
it was. It's funny you say that. I forgot that the Super Bowl was during that because I can remember. I don't know why I remember this, but Beech Grove has a little market there, and they had a
Yeah.
Super Bowl party because nobody else had electricity, and so
Wow.
everybody's sitting there watching the Super Bowl. And yeah, that's funny. You kind of rattled my memory on that one.
I like that. That's crazy. Beech Grove. That's like in between a Walnut Ridge and Paragould, kind of out there in the middle
Yeah,
of
it's
nowhere.
kind
Is
of up
that
there on the
right?
top up there. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You kind of go up North Paragould, slide over, and then 34 over. So yeah.
Gotcha. Northeast Arkansas geography. That's your second major, I would
That's
assume.
it.
So
Yeah.
if I've got any community questions about Northeast Arkansas, I'm coming to you. You know, staying kind of on the same topic as the '09 ice storm. How do you keep your poise, your confidence during a major weather event, whether it be a tornado outbreak or an ice storm? How do you stay so calm and collected during those times?
Well, I'll tell people this during some of our biggest events. I just put on a good act because I'm gonna tell you, inside, I'm scared. I want to throw up. I want to do all the things. When we sat there and watched the tornado over Jonesboro develop, literally one of my nightmares. I mean, that
Right,
I have had that nightmare before of covering a tornado going through highly populated area, that kind of thing. But at the same time, um, just like in any of our jobs, even your job also, like there's times when it's nervousness and it's anxiety, and you've got to keep calm for the people
mhm,
that are looking at you. So I don't take this chroma key wall that's over here to my side lightly, and the fact that people have said before, we can tell from your facial expressions what's going on.
right,
You look more serious when we need to be serious. If I go out there and project that I'm scared or that I'm frantic or anything like that, even though deep down in here it may be there, you've
right,
got to put out. Part of the job is, hey, let's stay calm and let's get the job done. Something you may not know, I'm also a volunteer fireman and rescue, and it's the
yes,
same thing. We pull up on wrecks sometimes, and your emotions just want to go all over the place, and
right,
you can't. You just got to sit there and you got to do the job. So I don't know. I think it's just something God's kind of blessed me with of just staying locked in during the moment.
right,
But there are times where they either that leaks out. People who know me long enough or know me personally can know they see the emotional side coming out of things. But when it's all over with, there's usually some point of decompression and that
right,
comes out. And when it comes to weather, I like to go out. I say like's not the word I'm really looking for, but I go out afterwards and see how the storm impacted people.
right.
And so the next time when that goes around, that goes through my mind also. These people are counting on you to give them information and not to panic and freak out.
Of
Um,
course.
so you know,
Yeah, I got you. And you talked about how you want to throw up when things like that. when I was the head coach at Manila and Waldron, I literally threw up before every game. That's how nervous I was. I mean, my assistant coaches were like, "We've got to do something different to get you to quit from doing this."
Your
But
stomach is something. Yeah.
yeah, something's going on in the old digestive system. But
Yeah.
when nervousness or anxiousness gets placed on me in those high pressure moments, the way that I've gotten past that is I'm looking at it as God is wanting me to be my best right now. And so
Yeah.
that's why I feel that way. He is speaking to me through my body. And
Right.
so that's kind of a little best practice that I've used during times of, high pressure and anxiousness. Hey, God's telling you right now, you got to go. You got people that are
Right.
counting on you. So,
Yeah.
that's one thing that I've used, and I'm
And that's
sure you
spot
you
on.
naturally do that.
Yeah.
Yep. So, thanks for being, putting on that act during
Yeah.
those big moments. Um, when you look into forecasting and something big's coming and you know that you're getting your suit and tie on, you're getting ready to go in, how do you prepare yourself outside of actually looking at the weather? Is it prayer? Do you have some pump up music like it's a locker room? What do you talk to your coworkers? How do you physically get ready for those big moments?
Yeah, it's a good question. That I recently started doing something new. I mean, I've been doing this, like I told you, coming up on 25 years, and something new I've really done is clear my calendar. Used to, I
Wow.
would do a school visit on the day of tornado watches. So you're sitting there and you're doing science experiments with kids, and you fold it all up and you go cover tornadoes. And here recently, I've just cleared my schedule. If it's like, man, Tuesday looks like a severe weather event, I won't do school visits on Monday. And that may, I'll reschedule them, and that may throw off some classrooms or whatever. But I just like to get rested up and my mind prepared for a severe weather event, and really just hope that it all falls apart. But
Right.
just kind of clear my mind on it, and prayer also,
Uh,
leading up to just, hey, be with us through this event. I don't think people understand. We've had some fatalities, don't get me wrong, but this
yes.
area has been really, really fortunate
No
to not
doubt.
have fatalities, more fatalities. I mean, we had 33 tornadoes this spring. That's the most my career has ever had.
Wow.
Unfortunately, we had three fatalities over in Independence County, but these are events and those are tornadoes that we saw video of that kill hundreds. I mean, I've
Right.
had friends that are meteorologists where they have a severe weather event and literally 200 people die.
Right.
And I've told people over and over again, if that happened here, I will not be okay. I mean, that is that's just, man, I that's just bad. That's just
Right.
so.
Of course.
You know, uh, I really just try to rest my mind, rest my brain, pray. We always have a plan together.
Right.
We'll have a meeting ahead of time. We'll make sure someone's in the chase vehicle, someone's going to be here, um, and and day of we start dialing in. Okay, where are we putting the
Right.
chase vehicle? What's the road structure like? It always seems to be like we always start in Newport. It's kind of funny. I don't know why Newport, but they've got the nice I-57 and
Right.
14 that goes over. So it's an easy place to get around chasing wise pretty
Central
fast, at least
location.
initially. Yeah, yeah,
Really central location, and naturally weather does move in from the
yeah.
west, and
You're
so
right.
it's kind of where that starts. And so man, I can appreciate that you literally you're a coach putting together a game plan. That's what that sounds
Pretty
like.
much.
And
Yeah, it is.
so when you got your guy Jace Passmore by your side, who's a Truman graduate as well.
He
I know
is.
he's
He is a Truman boy.
I know he's over in he's in Myrtle Beach now, right?
He's in Myrtle Beach. He likes to send me Snapchats of him on the beach like every day, and I'm like, that's great. Whatever, punk.
Thanks,
I mean,
Jace.
yeah,
But yeah, I watched, I felt like this spring, man. I mean, I'm in the shelter, I think like at least once a week and,
yeah,
and tuned into you. And, so seeing you do your thing and then my good buddy from high school, helping you out, that was really cool. And so
yeah.
I love to get some insight on how that comes together. And so,
Jace probably
um,
got sick of tornadoes and said, "I'm just going to the beach." That's all.
yeah, yeah. And then it's like,
Look at hurricanes.
he's there 2 months and now he's got to cover a hurricane. So,
Right? Yeah.
you talked about resting your mind, resting your body. What's the longest quote unquote shift you've ever worked? Like, what's the longest you've been in studio to cover a weather event?
Well, okay, so I started at KAIT 25 years ago, but a lot of people forget I left for almost 3 years, and I went down to Montgomery, Alabama, which is in South Alabama, and we covered
Okay.
Hurricane Ivan. We were on for
Gotcha.
27 hours.
My goodness.
Yeah, and it was one of those things where about every 4 hours they would say, "Okay, go take a nap." But you lay down and there's, 60-mile-per-hour winds outside, so you're like, "I'm not gonna sleep." So,
Right?
27 hours is what we were on.
27 hours over or under 10 cups of coffee.
No, over. That's something else is you drink all this coffee, and then, 3 hours later, they're like, "Go take a nap." I'm like, "I'm jacked up on coffee. I'm not taking a nap." So,
I'm ready to rock. I'm dialed in. My palms are
that's it.
sweating. No nap right now. So we've
Yeah.
talked about some of the tougher things that you do. We've talked about some tough events. Give me the funniest thing that you've ever done on air by accident or on purpose. Maybe give me a little embarrassing moment.
Oh, let's see. Let me see if there's anything that's doesn't fall under statute of limitations. Okay, I got one for you. So, so back in the day, everything's kind of automated around here now. But back in the day, if we did the newscast, someone physically turned off the newscast and turned on Jimmy Kimmel. I
Okay.
believe that's who it was. Jimmy Kimmel came on afterwards. So literally, you had to have someone back there doing it. And so that night, we were recording a weather hit that would go about 11:20. So we'd record this little 1 minute clip after the 10 o'clock news. And so I'm on the weather deck that night. And so we end
Okay.
the news, and then you just stand there and you wait for them. Okay, Ryan, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Well, I said, hey, it's just gonna be in just a minute. And I said, okay. And I'm sitting on the weather deck, and I'm getting hit by mosquitoes. So I start singing this song because I'm goofy. I start singing this song. I'm like, mosquitoes really suck. Mosquitoes really suck. And just being stupid, thinking I'm really just talking to myself, but my microphone's on. But had no idea at all. I get a text message from now Sheriff Brad Snyder of Greene County. He said, "You're on live TV singing a song about mosquitoes." And I
Let's
was like,
go.
no way. So I go back to the control room, and the guy in the control room is just laid back asleep. I mean, just dead asleep.
Knocked out.
Yeah, just fell asleep during the news. Never did the thing to go over to Jimmy Kimmel. So when they pulled me up to, yeah, stand by, Ryan. We're gonna get to you in just a minute. I'm singing a song about mosquitoes sucking. Now,
Awesome.
I'm told that video is somewhere around. So I don't know.
Di- Time for a deep dive into the files. There was a family of four in coining or something. So mad that Jimmy Kimmel wasn't on, and you're singing about
Yeah,
mosquitoes.
they're like, "Oh, we're missing Jimmy's monologue, and he's sitting here acting like an idiot."
I
So,
love that, man.
yeah,
I love that. So, obviously, that I'm a coach, and I'm into year 7 now, and you've got a kiddo that's a coach. So speak on that a little. Your young boy Shad, correct?
yeah. Shad, he played ball at GCT and went over to Arkansas. When he got over to Arkansas, Coach Jeff Conaway was head coach at
Yeah.
Shiloh Christian. And Shiloh took Shad under their wing as a student coach. And I was highly impressed right from the start. I mean, right from the start, Shad calls me, says, "Hey, I got a group of guys I'm leading Bible study with of students." I'm like,
Oh
"Man, that's
man.
awesome. That is super cool." And
Yes.
Jeff kind of took him under his wing and just taught him so much. And so he was a student coach over at Shiloh for the past few years. And Jeff ended up going down to Orlando First Academy. And Shad was a little worried. He's like, "Oh man, this kind of grad assistant position is going to go away." And they came right in and said, "Man, we'd love to have you." And so this season, they actually moved down to Arkadelphia because my daughter-in-law is getting her master's at Washita. So
Okay.
this semester, Shad is not coaching, and
Oh,
then yeah, he's got 2 classes he's finishing up. So he is using this fall to enjoy his first year of marriage and
awesome.
finish up these some classes at Arkansas, and then they're gonna get back after it. Deep down, I'd like to see him just go back to Shiloh.
Right.
We'll see if he goes to Northeast Arkansas. I don't know. I just know him and Kylie both are locked into God's will, and they are gonna go wherever He leads them to go, and so. it's been fun, and boy, I've become a Shiloh Saints fan. They've been
Yeah.
fun over the past few years.
Man, they just got that new beautiful indoor facility. My goodness.
Yes, it
That's
is
a nice
gorgeous.
place. And it's super cool to see your son Shad, man. He's already winning the big game. You know,
Yeah,
starting Bible study with students. That's the big game. That's the wins in life that you want, not on the
yeah.
scoreboard. So, man, shout out to him, man. And if there's anything I can ever do for him, I mean, I'll
You
be
bet.
willing
I
to
mean,
help
yeah,
in a
we all need to
heartbeat.
meet up sometime and talk. But
Yeah.
yeah, we owe a whole lot to Cross Church and Shiloh. They really took him in, and he got to work with youth up there, and just it's been awesome. But they're taking a little break for 1 year, I believe. They'll be in
Right.
Arkadelphia, and then who knows what's going to happen after that. So
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, I saw that you went up to a few games up at Shiloh, and
yeah,
that's Northwest Arkansas is a pretty cool place to visit. And watch your son coach. So I know
yeah,
you enjoyed
they love
that.
some football up there.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. I got to live there for 9 months and got to experience that firsthand.
Yeah,
So Northeast Arkansas does too. Man, it's just man that feel of a Friday night in a Hoxie or a Gosnell or a Truman. Man, those small towns that love football, it's just a different feel. And
yeah.
um, I tell a lot of people that running out in front of 80,000 people on a Saturday was awesome. But there's just something different about those Friday nights. So,
Oh, they
you know,
really are. And I'm using the advantage. Past few years I've been at Shiloh games only, and uh, even this past Friday it was good to. Shad and Kylie were in town, and we get to go to other games now. So him and I
right,
went to the GCT game, and we're sitting there, and he sees things I don't, like you do, and he's like, "Oh,
right.
this, that, and the other, and all this, that, and the other." And I'm just sitting here learning from him, watching the game with someone that knows what they're actually talking about versus all the parents around you that don't have a clue. They're like, "Ah," you know,
Right.
it's fun.
I know
So
I'm probably kind of annoying to watch a game with because I'm always looking at it from a coach's perspective.
yes,
I've got to, pull it back when I'm watching the Hogs or really anybody and watch it as a fan instead of a coach, So,
right,
man, that's awesome that you got one in coaching and that you're letting him, supporting his dream. And so,
yeah.
looking forward to see what he does next. So, man, I just cannot appreciate you enough for spending some time with me. I know how busy your schedule is. I mean, you talked about it. You clear your schedule for these big things. And so I'm just blessed that you spent 30 or so minutes with me. I can truly speak for all of Northeast Arkansas and Southeast Missouri that, man, you're really special to us, and what you do for our little piece of the earth is really special. And man, I'll probably thank you about 15,000 more times in my life. But thank you for what you do, Ryan. We really do appreciate it,
I appreciate it, man. Appreciate it.
man. So thank you for coming on once again. Man, we'll have to sit down and have a cup of coffee soon or something. And we
Hey,
talked
let's
about
make
this.
that happen.
Well, we talked about this before. If you're listening, we've actually never met in person. We've known of each other, obviously, but never met in person. So me, you, and Mitchell Weber, we'll have to make that happen soon. All right.
I will say we've never met in person, but I saw you, I think, in person last year, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. Okay.
I think I did
Gotcha.
from a distance. I was like, "Hey, I know who that is." So yeah,
Awesome. Well,
yeah.
man, thank you for your time. Thank you for everything you do. Maybe
You
down
too,
the
man.
road after the cup of coffee, we'll do another one of these. How about that?
There you go. Count me in.
All right, man. Thanks, RV. Appreciate you.
See ya.
All right. Today's question of the day segment is presented by none other than Coyote Apparel Company, my good friend Cody Crittenden. Cody's done so much for me, throughout this podcast process. Not only giving me ideas on how to run this the right way, how to present the podcast on social media, but helping me out with the merchandise side of things. Man, what a good friend and what a good man. And so shout out to Cody Crit today. I know I shouted him out in episode 1, but I felt due diligence to give him his due diligence, I guess you could say. So shout out to my good friend Cody Crit. Keep firing those questions of the day in. Really, really look forward to this segment every episode. So Coyote Apparel Company, go get you some of that. Some sweet looking stuff for the fall. Question 1 of the question of the day segment. I did not write down who asked this one, so I apologize if you asked this question. What is your go-to trick play? When I was a play caller, I always kept a few things up my sleeve. Always carried stuff into games, that could give us an advantage that might be a little outside of the box. But I was always a big fan of shifting into overload sets to catch the defense off guard. I try to carry something like that into the game, even though it's not necessarily a trick play. I always try to overload the defense as much as I possibly could. Um, and if you know me and if you've seen me coach, I'm big on fake punts. I always carry a fake punt into the game. We had a huge fake punt against Osceola my first year as the head coach at Manila, thrown by Kurt Overton, caught by Brian Neal II. Don't want to give away the details of that play. Don't want to give away all my secrets, but since I'm still a special teams coordinator, but that fake punt kind of changed the momentum in that game, and that was a huge conversion for us. So I guess the easy answer would be a fake punt. Got a lot of those that I draw up, and the kids always love when you got something new on punt. So I guess a good old fake punt would be my favorite trick play or my go-to trick play. If you asked that, I'm sorry I didn't write that down. Great question, though. Fantastic question. Question 2. This has been asked by multiple people. I think this was asked by my sister-in-law, Braylee, and then also by some younger coaches. What's the best piece of advice I've ever received? I could go multiple directions with this, but I think it's simply just be yourself. Be yourself. There's no need to be anybody else. Live life the way God intended you to live it. Don't be shy. Don't be embarrassed of the way you live. Live the way that God made your mold and broke it. I know I've said that multiple episodes, but just be genuine. Be yourself, because there'll never be another one again. And so I don't want to act like anybody else. I always take advice from other people or ideas from other people, but I'm always going to be the best version of myself and the most genuine version of myself. So just be you, and make a difference in the world. Very, very good question. And the last question of episode 5 of the question of the day segment. Advice to young coaches. This was asked by Mr. Gunnar Cook. Gunnar Cook's fired away about 14 or 15 of these questions of the day. So thanks, Gunnar. Advice to young coaches. Be stern early. Your athletes are going to know that you're young. Don't be vulnerable, be stern, but make connections with your athletes. Show that you have interest in their lives. Don't get too close. Obviously, don't do anything to jeopardize your career. Be stern, but build relationships. I think that's what this generation respects. They respect someone that's invested in their life, but also wants to make them the best version of themselves. So be stern and make relationships at the same time. That's extremely powerful, and that's something that I did when I started at Mark Tree and Manila. Was energetic and passionate about making relationships and showing interest in, young men's lives, but also be stern, know what you're doing when you go out onto the practice field. Have a plan, make sure that your athletes respect you, and be stern. And push them to be the best version of themselves. So kind of a lot going on in that answer, but the short answer is to be stern, but absolutely put the kids first, make relationships with them, because that's what they'll remember in the end. I've tried to make relationships with all my athletes that I coach. I think it's extremely important that they have role models in their lives and someone they can look back on at the end of their athletic career and say that guy made a difference. And so that's what I want to be, and that's what that's the advice that I've got to young coaches out there. So, thank you for listening to this podcast. Once again, fire away on that merch. There's more merch coming soon. Really excited where this thing is headed. We're still small. So if you're listening, if you're a longtime listener, or if you've listened to all 5 episodes, thank you. If you're a new listener, stay with us. We're going to keep this thing going. So, I'm blessed to be able to do this. I feel like God put this on my heart back in July, and I'm going to keep this thing rolling no matter if I've got 2 listeners or 2 million. So have an amazing week. Signing off of episode 5 of In the Huddle. God bless. We'll see you next time.